Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a quick first impression video for you on the Civivi Sinisys. This is something I don't think I've had from Civivi, stainless steel frame lock. I've had pretty much everything else. I may have had one other, but they had a couple stainless steel frame locks last year that were on the smaller end of the spectrum, so I didn't pick those up. I think this is the first one that I have tried. Anyway, larger knife, which of course you guys know me if you've been around for a little while, 8.5 inches overall. That's right in my wheelhouse. It's got this nice big finger choil, which I appreciate a lot. Full grip there for your hand. Again, something that draws me to these larger knives. I guess we'll give you a quick rundown of features, and then we'll get into size and weight, and then I'll give you my initial thoughts about this. So up front, we have this blade, 14C28N steel, blasted finish. I don't love bead blasted finish. I'm definitely, a satin finish guy more so, or stonewash. I hate to say this, but it's cheaper, and this is one of the more budget-friendly Civivis. I mean, most of them are pretty budget-friendly, but this one, I think it's around $50. I would have much rather seen them do anything else, but that said, it's still not bad. All right. The things that I don't like about bead blast, just to reiterate this, and I know it's supposed to be a first impression, so bear with me. One, it takes and shows scratches pretty readily, and that's something that I don't like. Sorry guys, I bumped into the tripod there. The other thing I don't like about blasted finishes is that they can allow for corrosion to occur more readily. Now, this, of course, being a pretty high corrosion resistant steel, probably won't be an issue. So I'm making much ado about nothing here, but I still would prefer a satin finish on this. Moving on, we have, of course, bearing pivot, which we're used to seeing from Civivi. Very snappy action. You're hard pressed to think of a Civivi that doesn't have pretty nice action. I think maybe I've handled one or two in my time, but it's a pretty rare thing. We have a stainless steel frame lock here with a deep carry clip, micarta scale on the other side. I hope I'm not leading you astray here, but I want to say there's a carbon fiber Damascus version available, which is kind of a neat looking knife, and I don't know. Might be compelling to some of you out there. To me, 14C28N and this nice brown micarta, it looks like if you take a look here, you can see it's more of a burlap micarta than canvas. I like canvas micarta a little bit better, but again, it's not a huge issue for me to take. One thing I will say is this is a surprise for me on this knife. If you take a look in here, this is a first impression, and this stood out to me right away because it's just not usual for Civivi. There's no milling to lighten up the stainless steel side. There is, on the other hand, a nested liner that you can see in there. All right, hopefully you can see. If you can't, you're gonna have to take my word for it, but I've tried to, hopefully it'll catch a little bit right there in that angle or through the back here. So that's definitely something I like to see. It keeps the knife nice and thin and still fairly substantial. Now that we've kind of run through the features here and you're familiar with what this knife's got going on, I'll just give you a size and weight and my overall thoughts in terms of what strikes me right off the bat. So 8.5 inches overall, 3 11/16 on the blade. Okay, so that's a fairly long blade. 4 7/8 closed. So this is a fairly substantial knife, even when it's closed. Now it is nice and slim, so it carries pretty comfortably, but there's a fair bit of knife here, so just be aware of that. If you if you like wearing the girl jeans with the little shallow pockets, it could be a bit of an issue for you. The grip area on this is 3 3/4 inches, and it weighs in at 4.9 ounces. So fairly standard stuff there. I like to see that larger grip area there. I tend to, that tends to be an issue for me with knives as I go to grip them and I find I just can't get comfortable. So I will say I'm happy with that. Initial impressions, what are my thoughts? Yeah, nice knife, right? I just, this is a pretty good offering from Civivi. I honestly, upon looking at it, I kind of suspected that overall I'd be pretty satisfied with it. The only thing that stands out, and I would have known this going in, and I did, it would have been nice to have a choil here so I would be able to do a Spidey flick. So flipper only deployment, which is not something we see very often these days, but it's still totally functional. I will say this, normally I'd save this for a full review, but the other thing that stands out to me is the lock bar is nice and accessible and comfortable. So that's something I really, really enjoy. So overall, we've got a comfortable knife. I love the fact that you can choke up there. Nice thin blade stock, very slicey behind the edge, comfortable handle. All around, I'm pretty happy with this, and I look forward to spending some time with it, and I will do that and then come back with a full review. If you want one of these, head over to White Mountain Knives, use my discount code SHARPSTUFF. That will save you a little bit. And I did check before making this video, and they had them in stock. Hopefully that's still the case if you go over there. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will talk to you soon.